searched for fuel pressure sensor, I've got an issue with it. And then I'm presented with these index cards that represent all the information types that we have around that sensor, right? And we're focused on wiring diagrams, so that's where I'm gonna go. So, in Truck Series, we have two different types of diagrams. I don't know if you guys all knew that. We have the very complex diagrams that show the vehicle, the component in relation to the system, and we have these what we call mini diagrams that are really focused at the component you said you were interested in and the circuitry around it. So here I take the fuel rail pressure sensor, and of course it goes and highlights the circuit, which doesn't mean much since there's only a pretty simple circuit here. But what's cool is if you think about technicians of the past, when I was a technician, we had these brown books. They were called Mitchell manuals. And we would look in that book and we'd be on that diagram and we'd find what we're looking at and say, oh, fuel rail pressure sensor. Then I would like slide something in that to bookmark that page, and I would go back and find information about that sensor. Well, in electronic information systems, it's not been so easy because now if I said I want to look at that fuel rail sensor, I would exit the diagram, go search for the sensor, find out what I wanted to find out about it, come back in, research the diagram, and then go to the next step. Well now, any of these components that have this blue around the text, the component identifier, you can just click on that. And over here on the left are representations of every card that would have happened if I'd have searched for fuel rail sensor in Truck Series. So I can now, like if I were to know where this fuel rail sensor is, I can click there, get to the picture, zoom in on it. I know exactly what I'm looking for. If I want to know how to replace it, I can click that, and there's my information. So I can look anywhere in my reference information without actually leaving the diagram. Now I just click X. I'm back to this, and I can either click the X there or just click in the diagram, and I'm returned so I can go on to the next step. So that's a simple view of it. Now I'm back out of that diagram. I want to scroll down and find the complex diagram, which would be found down here, that fuel rail sensor there. And this is pretty cool. I clicked on that, and this is a pretty complex diagram. It's actually 8 pages long, and it's navigated me to page 2 because that's the first page that component that I was searching for is actually found. Then, if you see these yellow highlighted wires, it's highlighted that circuit for me, so as a technician, I can very quickly focus in on what I want to see. I can dim the rest of the wires so that I can focus even better. Now I can zoom in and see what I'm interested in looking at. And, you know, kind of diving a little bit deep, but all these sensors, I was interested in this fuel pressure sensor right here, and it's a variable feedback potentiometer type sensor. You've got a voltage, a ground, and then a feedback loop. And if you notice, it shares that feedback loop across this circuit with the oil pressure sensor, the crank pressure sensor, the cam position sensor, a lot of these sensors. So if I actually had a common problem, now I could quickly scroll down and find out where that terminates. And this is why this is so important. I'm looking at a fuel pressure sensor. The labeling on the ECM where this signal return or this power goes to is called camshaft position return. So they didn't actually label it the way that I would have labeled it, and had I not looked here, I would have, and if I had just looked at the ECM, I would have never found something for pressure, fuel pressure return, right? Same thing would happen, oops, went the wrong way. If I scrolled across the other line, I find camshaft position sensor supply 2 right there. So it's pretty cool how this all works. And again, now I've clicked on the text for ECM, the engine control module. Here's all the cards that are associated with that. So once again, I can look for information about like how to replace it or what have you. And I can just navigate the entire system like that. I don't ever have to really come out of here as long as I'm focused at where I'm focused. So